The glittering facade of reality television has always possessed a unique power to captivate millions of viewers around the globe, offering a curated glimpse into the lives of the wealthy, the glamorous, and the intensely dramatic. For years, audiences have tuned in week after week to watch the chaotic and intertwined journeys of families who choose to live their most vulnerable, triumphant, and devastating moments directly in front of the flashing lights of Hollywood cameras. Among these families, few have sustained the public interest quite as intensely as the Giudice clan, whose matriarch has spent well over a decade navigating the turbulent waters of reality television fame. From the very beginning, viewers have watched this family grow, transform, and withstand immense pressures that would easily fracture an ordinary household. The children of these reality television icons are born into a world where privacy is a luxury and public scrutiny is an absolute guarantee, growing up with the cameras documenting every single major milestone, from their very first steps to their high school graduations and their transition into young adulthood. This constant exposure creates a bizarre dynamic where the audience feels deeply connected to these children, watching them evolve from innocent toddlers into independent individuals who must eventually forge their own paths under the heavy weight of their family name. When a new chapter of drama unfolds within such a prominent household, it sends immediate shockwaves through the entire entertainment landscape, capturing the undivided attention of both devoted fans and casual observers alike. It is a stark reminder that behind the heavily edited episodes, the luxurious vacations, and the carefully orchestrated public appearances, there are real human beings experiencing genuine hardships, unpredictable crises, and moments of intense personal vulnerability that cannot simply be erased when the cameras stop rolling. If you want to stay updated on this unfolding story and receive deep dives into the most compelling entertainment events as they happen, please take a brief moment to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. The reality television universe is fundamentally built upon a fragile foundation where the boundaries between public entertainment and private reality are constantly blurred, creating a volatile environment where a single sudden event can completely upend a family's carefully constructed narrative in a matter of seconds. For the Giudice family, this reality has manifested in countless headlines over the years, yet the latest development has caught the public completely off guard, shifting the focus away from the seasoned veterans of the screen and squarely onto the next generation. A sudden turn of events in the quiet suburbs of New Jersey has suddenly placed a bright, young college student into the center of a media storm, raising urgent questions about what truly transpired behind closed doors during a quiet spring evening. The unfolding situation involves serious allegations that have quietly moved through the local legal system, far removed from the bright studio lights and the glamorous red carpets that this family is so accustomed to navigating. As the details of this stunning situation begin to emerge, the public is left trying to piece together a complex puzzle involving a young woman who has spent her entire life under the microscope, yet now faces a profoundly personal and serious challenge that could impact her future. The contrast between her seemingly carefree life as a university sophomore and the gravity of the legal accusations currently facing her creates a striking paradox that has left commentators and fans searching for answers. It is a narrative that builds upon a long history of family resilience, yet introduces an entirely new level of tension as the public waits to understand the full scope of the incident. The atmosphere surrounding the family has grown thick with anticipation and speculation, as onlookers debate the potential implications of these serious legal claims and look for any sign of acknowledgement from the individuals involved. This quiet tension is nothing new for those who have followed the family's long history, yet when it involves one of the younger daughters who is just beginning to establish her own independent life, the stakes feel remarkably higher and the public interest intensifies exponentially. The quiet suburban streets where this incident allegedly occurred stand in sharp contrast to the glamorous lifestyles portrayed on television, highlighting the deep disconnect between reality TV fame and the stark, unyielding reality of everyday legal procedures. As news of the situation began to filter out into the wider public consciousness, the immediate reaction was a mixture of disbelief and intense curiosity, with everyone eager to learn how such a situation could have transpired in the first place. The family has always been known for their fierce loyalty and their ability to band together during times of immense difficulty, but this latest obstacle tests that resilience in a completely unprecedented way, focusing the spotlight on a young woman who is navigating the difficult transition into adulthood while carrying the heavy baggage of a famous last name. The world watches with bated breath as the first pieces of this complicated story fall into place, setting the stage for a deeper exploration of what occurred on that fateful New Jersey evening and how the family intends to move forward. The initial shock of the announcement has given way to a profound sense of intrigue as the public analyzes every minor detail and looks for clues in the family's social media activity, trying to discern the true emotional state behind the polished images. It is a masterclass in modern celebrity culture, where a major legal development can coexist with pictures of luxury and relaxation, leaving the audience to wonder where the truth truly lies beneath the surface. This building suspense sets the foundation for a much larger narrative, one that connects the mistakes of the past with the challenges of the present, serving as a powerful reminder of the relentless nature of public life. As we prepare to delve deeper into the specific facts, dates, and direct responses that have defined this developing situation over the past several days, the tension continues to mount, creating an atmosphere of intense focus on a young woman's sudden entanglement with the law. The story is just beginning to take shape, and the implications of what lies ahead could reverberate through this famous family for a very long time to come, making every piece of new information vital to understanding the full picture of this dramatic turn of events. The unsettling reality of the situation came crashing into the public eye when official law enforcement records confirmed that Milania Giudice, the 19-year-old daughter of reality television star Teresa Giudice, and her ex-husband Joe Giudice, had been arrested following an intense confrontation. This unexpected incident took place on May 14 at exactly 6:12 in the evening, within the quiet and suburban confines of Montville Township, New Jersey. According to the official documentation filed by the responding officers, the young university student was facing incredibly serious allegations, specifically listed as simple assault and knowingly causing bodily injury to another individual. Because of the highly sensitive nature of the confrontation and the specific relationships involved, local authorities processed the entire case under the strict legal classification of domestic violence, ensuring that many of the specific, granular details regarding the identity of the victim and the precise nature of the physical altercation remained entirely confidential under state law. The sudden arrest occurred right as Milania was wrapping up her sophomore year at the University of Tampa, a time when most young adults are focused entirely on finishing their final exams and preparing for a relaxing summer vacation with friends and family. Instead of celebrating the completion of another academic year, the young reality television personality found herself being processed by the Montville Township Police Department, with a formal court appearance rapidly scheduled for May 19 to address the criminal charges. As the scheduled court date arrived and passed, a thick veil of secrecy descended over the legal proceedings, leaving the current outcome of the case completely unknown to the general public and fueling an absolute frenzy of speculation across internet forums and entertainment news outlets. The contrast between this sudden legal crisis and the image of a carefree college student could not have been more striking, especially as onlookers noted that Milania had spent the days immediately following the incident seemingly unbothered, relaxing on a luxury yacht and soaking in the sun as if nothing had occurred. The absolute silence from the Giudice legal team and the absence of any official public statements regarding the disposition of the domestic violence charges only added to the mounting tension, leaving fans to wonder whether the matter had been quietly resolved, delayed, or if a more complex legal battle was brewing behind closed doors. This specific type of legal trouble is particularly jarring for audiences who have watched Milania grow up on television since she was a small child, often portrayed as a fiery, energetic, and fiercely independent young girl who was never afraid to speak her mind or stand up for herself within her large family. This latest development, however, carries far weightier consequences than the typical reality television arguments that the family has navigated for over a decade, representing a direct confrontation with the adult legal system in their home state of New Jersey. The gravity of a simple assault charge, coupled with a domestic violence classification, means that the potential long-term ramifications for her future, her education, and her public reputation are immensely significant, regardless of how wealth and status might influence the public perception of the case. As news of the arrest spread like wildfire across social media platforms, public curiosity reached a fever pitch, with thousands of commentators analyzing the timeline of events and trying to understand what could have possibly transpired in Montville Township on that mid-May evening to warrant such a severe response from local law enforcement. The silence from the family during the initial wave of reporting was deafening, creating a vacuum that was quickly filled with endless rumors and theories about the nature of the dispute and the well-being of everyone involved. Despite the immense pressure from the media and the relentless inquiries from reporters seeking a comment, the entire Giudice household initially retreated into a protective crouch, refusing to validate or deny the specific details of the police report that had leaked to the press. This strategic silence was a familiar tactic for a family that has spent years dealing with intense media scrutiny, yet the sheer scale of the public interest made it impossible to completely ignore the situation for long. The tension only continued to build as days turned into weeks without any formal clarification from the family or their representatives, leaving the public to dissect every single social media post for any subtle hint or hidden meaning. It was within this atmosphere of absolute scrutiny and heightened tension that Milania finally chose to break her silence, not through a formal press release or a carefully worded statement from an attorney, but through the modern medium of social media. Taking to her personal Instagram account on a Thursday, the teenager shared a cryptic and deeply telling photograph that immediately sent internet detectives into overdrive. The image featured a simple, rustic roadside sign bearing a powerful message about human judgment and humility, stating clearly that none of us sit high enough to look down on anybody, followed by a direct reminder to always remain humble. This choice of words was viewed by many as a direct, defensive response to the wave of criticism and judgment that had come directed toward her since the news of her arrest became public knowledge. By sharing this specific quote, she seemed to be sending a clear message to her critics that no one is perfect and that public condemnation is unwarranted without knowing the full nuanced truth of the situation. To further emphasize her emotional state and her primary source of support during this incredibly trying period, Milania also shared a humorous yet poignant meme on her profile that highlighted her incredibly close relationship with her famous mother. The meme stated that she and her mother are so close that she sometimes completely forgets she is actually talking to her parent, illustrating the deeply blurred lines between friendship and motherhood that have defined their bond for years. This particular post served as a public declaration of solidarity, reassuring her followers that despite the legal chaos and the swirling rumors, her relationship with Teresa remained entirely unshaken and stronger than ever. The choice to pivot the narrative toward family loyalty and mutual support was a masterful move, reminding the audience of the unbreakable bond that has sustained the Giudice women through some of the darkest chapters of their lives. It also signaled to the public that Teresa was firmly standing by her daughter's side through this latest storm, offering a protective shield against the harsh judgments of the outside world. The reaction to these social media posts was immediate and deeply divided, with some fans praising the teenager for her resilience and her focus on humility, while others criticized the updates as an attempt to minimize the seriousness of a domestic violence arrest. The lack of an explicit denial or an open explanation concerning the events of May 14 left many questions entirely unanswered, ensuring that the mystery surrounding the incident remained fully intact. This calculated approach to public relations minimized the immediate damage while keeping the core details of the legal case strictly confidential, allowing the family to retain some semblance of control over a narrative that was rapidly spinning out of control in the press. The intense drama surrounding the Instagram posts highlighted the unique challenges faced by the children of reality stars, who must learn to navigate profound personal crises and legal entanglements in the full view of millions of critical onlookers. Every single action, photo, and caption is viewed through the lens of their family history, making it nearly impossible to experience a normal, private moment of reflection or growth. As the public continued to debate the meaning behind her cryptic messages, the focus naturally began to shift toward the broader context of the Giudice family history, drawing inevitable parallels between this current situation and the tumultuous legal battles that have defined their legacy for generations. The building tension created a palpable sense of anticipation for what might happen next, as observers wondered whether this incident would become a central storyline in their ongoing reality television saga, or if it would remain a fiercely guarded family secret kept far away from the cameras. To fully understand the gravity of Milania's recent legal troubles and the profound resilience she displays alongside her mother, one must look deep into the tumultuous and highly publicized history of the Giudice family legacy. For over a decade, television audiences have possessed a front-row seat to the extreme highs and devastating lows experienced by Teresa and her 4 daughters, Gia, Gabriella, Milania, and Adriana, whom she shares with her former husband, Joe Giudice. The family rose to absolute international fame as the undisputed central figures of the reality television phenomenon, where their lives appeared to be a flawless showcase of excessive wealth, lavish mansions, expensive cars, and extravagant parties. However, this glittering facade came crashing down in a spectacular fashion starting around 2009, when the couple filed for a highly complicated federal bankruptcy. A fateful financial move that inadvertently set off an incredibly destructive chain reaction of intense legal battles with federal prosecutors. This intense scrutiny ultimately culminated in both Teresa and Joe being hit with a massive federal indictment consisting of multiple counts of mail, wire, bank, and bankruptcy fraud, completely shattering their reputation and plunging the entire household into a dark era of severe legal jeopardy. The long, drawn-out legal proceedings became a major national news story, with the cameras capturing the unbearable emotional toll it inflicted on the young daughters as they watched their parents navigate the real possibility of lengthy prison sentences. In a devastating blow to the family, federal judges handed down consecutive prison terms for the couple, forcing Teresa to serve nearly a year behind federal bars, followed immediately by Joe serving a lengthy multi-year sentence of his own in a separate federal correctional institution. This painful period of absolute separation forced the young girls, with Milania being right in the thick of her developmental years, to grow up incredibly fast, relying heavily on one another and their mother's fierce, protective maternal instincts to survive the overwhelming public shame and media harassment. The situation grew infinitely more complicated and heartbreaking toward the end of Joe's lengthy incarceration, when his legal status within the United States was formally challenged by immigration authorities. Despite having lived in America since he was a mere 1-year-old toddler, Joe had never officially secured his United States citizenship, a critical oversight that automatically triggered mandatory deportation proceedings upon the completion of his criminal sentence. After losing a series of desperate legal appeals while held in an immigration detention center, Joe was ultimately forced to leave the country he considered home, relocating to his birth country of Italy to await the final, disappointing results of his ongoing legal battles. This physical separation marked the definitive end of an era for the family, eventually leading to Teresa and Joe making the difficult decision to officially separate in December of 2019, followed by the rapid finalization of their divorce in September of the following year. Following his forced relocation to Europe, Joe eventually established a new permanent residence in the tropical Bahamas, creating a distinct geographical dynamic where his 4 devoted daughters now regularly take turns traveling long distances to visit him, maintaining a deeply loving relationship despite the vast oceans between them. In the years following the painful dissolution of her first marriage, Teresa has been remarkably candid about her past life, openly sharing her deep reflections during a notable appearance on the popular entertainment podcast titled Undressed with Pole and Patrick. During this revealing interview, the reality star and successful cookbook author looked back at her decades-long relationship with Joe and explicitly stated that her ex-husband was ultimately never the true love of her life, noting that while they made beautiful, incredible babies together, that was truly the absolute extent of their compatibility. She went on to deeply praise her new husband, Luis Louis Reyes, whom she passionately wed in a lavish, heavily publicized ceremony in 2022, affectionately referring to him as her ultimate twin flame and celebrating his deeply attentive, loving nature, which she claimed was a critical emotional support that Joe had never been able to provide during their marriage. Interestingly, this public criticism did not spark a massive feud, as Joe quickly shared with major media outlets like TMZ that he actually completely agreed with his ex-wife's honest statements, proving to the public that there were absolutely no lingering hard feelings or bitter resentments between them. Joe publicly stated that their turbulent past is completely water under the bridge at this point in their lives, emphasizing that they still get along remarkably well, successfully co-parent their 4 daughters, and consistently do exactly what they need to do to support their children, which remains the single most important priority for both of them. He even went so far as to express his genuine heartfelt happiness that his ex-wife had managed to find true lasting love with Louis Ruelas, showcasing a rare level of maturity and unity that has helped the children feel secure despite the complex dynamics of their extended, blended family. This long and exhausting history of surviving intense public scandals, criminal trials, prison sentences, and forced international deportations explains exactly why the Giudice family possesses such an unbreakable, fiercely protective bond whenever a new crisis emerges. Milania's recent arrest in New Jersey is undoubtedly a deeply stressful obstacle for the young college sophomore. Yet it is a challenge that she approaches with the unique strength of a young woman who has already survived the absolute worst that public life can throw at a family. The striking contrast between her peaceful days spent relaxing on a luxury yacht and the serious domestic violence allegations winding through the Montville Township court system illustrates the complex reality she must navigate as she tries to forge her own path at the University of Tampa. Armed with the unwavering, unconditional support of her famous mother and the protective embrace of her sisters, Milania continues to move forward into her young adulthood, using the lessons of humility and family loyalty to withstand the harsh waves of public judgment. As this latest legal chapter slowly unfolds behind closed doors, the enduring story of the Giudice family remains one of absolute survival, demonstrating a unique ability to transform moments of deep personal